Welcome to episode 1 of Body Mind Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Claude, Marine therapist in training and founder of BMF. Today we got someone who lives and breathes authenticity, content creator, athlete, storyteller, Alun Gil. You can find him on Instagram at Alun Gil. You might have seen his YouTube channel, Alun Gil TV Reacts, where his real commentary, no BS approach brings humor and truth to everything from sports to life. Today, we're diving into what it means to stay authentic, stay disciplined, and still laugh through the process the BMF way. What's up, man? How you doing?
How you feeling, man? How you feeling? I appreciate you having me on, man.
No, I appreciate you. You're my first guest here, and I don't, as I'm rapping, thinking about everything, I don't think there's anyone more qualified than you. So I really appreciate, especially that drive coming from, where are you coming from again?
Menifee?
Yeah, coming from Memphis.
So you know what? I got up. Of course, you know what happened yesterday. I got up and I said, all right, I'm good. I got everything situated. I should be all right. And I got on the road. Usually takes me about 45 minutes to get down here. And then, I don't know, I'm like, why are we at a standstill right now? So I guess everybody wanted to be out this morning, but it was all good, man. We made it out.
I appreciate it. I really do. I want to start this episode and all future episodes just about you from your beginnings. So if you just give a brief introduction of who you are, where you came, where were you born, and stuff like that.
Okay. So going from the start. So I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. I'm the youngest of 8 kids. Yeah, so that was mostly my dad's doing, to be honest. But my mom has 3 kids. So I grew up with my 2 older sisters.
Okay.
Came to America in 2005. So right before my 15th birthday. So I came to America when I was 14. Went to high school, of course. Finished high school. Then I joined the Navy.
Okay.
So that I spent 8 years in the Navy.
Okay, what prompted you to join the Navy?
You know what? To be real with you, I had no intentions of joining the military. I had 2 older sisters that were military.
Okay.
So one was a Marine and she's about to retire from the Army, actually. Okay. And initially, I didn't have any intentions. I said, oh, that's like a cop-out, people going to the military. Yeah. Right? Long story short, my dad and I kind of, son and father, quarrels, whatever. And that recruiter card that I threw under the bed, I said, what should I do? Let me go get that card real quick. And then I called up the recruiter. And yeah, that's really what prompted me joining.
How old were you when you joined?
So right before I turned 19. So I think I went to boot camp, I was 19.
Okay.
Right after my 19.
So like a year after high school or something?
So a year after high school. I actually met my recruiter at the community college I was going to.
Okay.
And funny enough, it was a girlfriend at the time. He was talking to her. And I kind of went over there like, hey man,
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, my fault. And then, by the way, I'm a recruiter. That's how he got me. That's how he reeled me in. Okay. And, but it's all good, man. At the end of the day, it's still good.
What did you do in the Navy?
So I was a Navy corpsman.
Okay.
So a hospital corpsman. So put that in layman's terms, I was medical.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So you was a corpsman in the Navy. Did you ever do any green side? Were you ever with the Marines and stuff?
So I initially started out in a hospital. I worked at general surgery. Okay. So sitting in on surgeries, and we had a plastic surgery side of it, a breast cancer side of it as well. And then after that, I went to field medical training. Okay. So that's the training that we go to be with the Marines. And then after that, I went to a green side unit.
How long were you with the green side unit?
So for me, that was 3 years.
Did you deploy with them?
No, I didn't deploy. Okay. So I was with 3rd Medical Battalion. Okay. So we were kind of more of in case things popped off.
Okay. Basically. Like more contingency. During your 8 years, did you have any deployment experience?
No, I never deployed.
Okay, so you did all that time on Camp Pendleton or in California, Southern California?
The back end? No, so I'll tell you the timeline. Yeah. So I started out in Bethesda, Maryland. Okay. Then I went to Fort Belvoir, which is actually an Army base. Okay. But it was like a joint contingency. And then after that, I came to California for medical training.
Okay.
Field medical training. Then I went to Okinawa, Japan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that now.
And then I came back to California. I came back to Wounded Warriors Battalion.
Okay, so you bounced around a little bit.
I bounced around a little bit. So, started in Maryland, ended in California. Well, I came for training first, went to Japan, ended in California.
If you could summarize your experience in the Navy, what words would you use?
Words?
Yeah.
Okay. Encouraging stability.
Okay, yep. That's a big one.
And I'll try to pick a final one. Togetherness, because that was
the camaraderie.
The camaraderie. You know, me, the friends that I've met in the military are literally still my friends to this day. And we almost talk every day, funny enough, to the T. So it's... Yeah, that togetherness, that's the one that, the stability and togetherness are the two ones that really kind of like I hone in on, because that's to the T what it was.
And what skills, what qualities would you say that you still resonate with, that you learned from the Navy or your time in the service that you still utilize today?
The skills, wow. I'll say this, learning that you can be motivated for something, but that is so fickle that if you don't have disciplinary behind it, it's almost like you're building a house on sand.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? You said disciplinary. Can you emphasize that? What do you mean by that? So,
I'll give an example, right? You can get up in the mornings and you can be like, you know what? I want a really big chest. You know, I want to work out. I want to get myself in shape. Basically, and you have the motivation. You saw some David Goggins videos the night before. you know, watch a bunch of motivational videos. You see Andrew Tate, whatever your cup of tea is.
Yeah.
You know, you got the motivation. You woke your butt up 5 o'clock in the morning. You said, you know what? I'm going to the gym. You're motivated.
Yeah.
Right. But you haven't built that muscle memory. You haven't built that discipline,
that consistency,
to say, you know what, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, these are the habits that I'm going to formulate around getting this weight loss journey that I'm going on. So motivation, differentiating between motivation and discipline.
And I really appreciate that, because like you said, there's a big difference, right? Because motivation can, like you said, it's fickle. It could come and go. But but discipline is key, right? I feel like it's one of the keys to success. Staying consistent, doing whatever you got to do. And then that's a strong quality that we both learned in the service.
Yes,
being disciplined, right? Because sometimes there's days that we're not motivated, right?
Absolutely
At all
not.
whatsoever. We don't want to go at 5 a.m. to go to PT on that 9 mile, whatever it was. But that discipline pushes us to do that.
Right, exactly.
And that's something that I also resonate and I still try and utilize to this day. And even that fake motivation. You know what I'm saying? So trying putting them together. But you talked about two key things that I kind of want to talk about. You talked about the camaraderie and then discipline when it comes to physical fitness, right?
Okay.
But I want to jump back to the camaraderie. Your time in, right? The camaraderie it's kind of like forced, but it's also kind of organic, right? It's I know it contradicts itself, right? Because you put in a room with a bunch of motherfuckers you may not like or you may have never talked to in your whole entire lifespan, right? But as time grows, you build these friendships, like you said, right? And that everlasting that you're never gonna forget,
right?
Tell me a little bit about how, if it was difficult, having that when you were in and then when you separated, when you transitioned out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're saying how was it when I was in the camaraderie versus when I was out?
Yes. Is that something that you struggled with, separating from it?
You know what, I'm going to be honest with you. Not really.
Okay.
Just for the mere fact that I don't know what it was about that island. When we were in Okinawa, it's almost like we all did a prison bid.
Oh, really?
So, for real. So everybody, I'm leading up to Okinawa, right? I'm gonna just go into this a little bit, right? I remember I had a second class petty officer that she was the one that said, I know the detailer, I can basically hook you up, basically, right?
Uh-huh.
So I said to her, I don't want to go anywhere near a Marine unit. Just make sure, send me to a nice AC place, you know, send me around a bunch of women, you know, just send me somewhere at night. I don't want to be around Marines, right? And she's like, oh, I got you, whatever. So she comes back to me and she said, don't get mad, but I got you 3rd Medical Battalion. And I was like, what is that? Like, that sounds like Marine stuff. Like,
complete opposite of what
but she was like, but caveat, it's in Japan. And she tried to soften it out by saying it's Japan, right? So, whatever. Fast forward, obviously went to Japan. And before I got out there, I used to hear stories about Okinawa. It was like, yo, this is dope. They throwing it at you left, right, and center. You gonna have a blast, right? And even my family was like, oh my God, you about to come back with a bunch of Japanese kids. And I was like, nah, I'm a chill, but you know. So going there, I was like, okay, maybe it's not that bad that I got sent to Okinawa. Maybe a month before I got there, my boy was like, yo, something happened. Everybody's on lockdown, Cinderella curfew. Now, before I got there, it's almost like I'm going into the trenches. It's like, everything is bad over here. You're going to hate life. Lo and behold, I went there, and it was exactly curfew, you know what I mean? Like, lockdown. Wasn't the business, right? But what that did, though, with being in that environment, those friendships that we built, man, I don't know. It almost like we all were trauma bonding.
Yes.
And that kind of transitioned with a lot of us, because I would say it's a group of about like 8 of us. Maybe 4 of us have been out or got out in the military as well. And we're all still in group chats. We all still talk like we're right there. So for me, that camaraderie that was built from that time period still followed me while I left the military.
So what I'm hearing from you is, when you were, due to your experience in Japan, you learned how to build those interpersonal skills due to that situation, and you were able to carry that forward into the civilian world.
Absolutely. So that was something that usually before I've kind of had some self-reflection, and I'm like, man, I've always moved all throughout my life, right? And the people that I was, I would say childhood friends, I'm not cool with them. Not say cool, but, you know.
Not as close.
Yeah. Absolutely not. In passing, you know, social media has opened up our worlds where we can still connect, but nothing to where I would call them up and be like, hey, this happened.
You would more likely reach out to one of your boys.
Now, so fast forward, this Oki crew, I literally can call up one of them and be like, man, this is what's going on. Let's have a chat. Same thing with them. They can call me no matter what time of night. So that being there with those guys, man, I don't know if it was just right place, right time. I don't know if it's the type of people that I was around. They also had those type of, you know, EQ where they could, you know, notice that, you know what? This is a friendship that I would like to last. You know, so it was a perfect storm. And for that, I'm grateful.
And you say something important about how you learned those skills while you were in and carried forward, but I think there's something to it, and I want to hear your feedback. It's something about the military culture, right? That with the qualities and values that you learn, and then when you get out, you don't, in my experience, that you don't really see in civilians that may have never served. So then when you meet someone from the service that has served, you click more than someone when the civilian, like how we met, right? For people that don't know, we met in Maricosta College, undergrad, right? And it was just me, you, and the other dude that served.
You still can't remember that.
I can't.
Yeah, for the longest, I told you this before. For the longest, I had you saved on the C. Loki didn't know. I didn't remember you.
Yeah.
Let me say that.
But
I got you. Go
I am horrible with names. Something I still got to work on. But yeah, it was us trio, and we just clicked.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
Of course.
And we never had any talks. You know what I'm saying? It was like we were best friends.
Yeah.
Just right. I think it was kind of like elementary school at times. Because they used to like separate us in the classroom.
Yeah, we were in class.
Math.
Yeah, we were in class, and the teacher was like, "Yeah, you guys, one of you need to sit over there." It's like, or she'd be like, "Shh," like too loud, because we were like kids in the playground.
But it's funny because the only real similarities the only shared interest that we really had was that we just all served.
Yeah,
I was a Marine, you was a Navy, and I think he was in the Army, right?
I believe he was.
3 different branches, 3 different cultures, but the fact that we all served brought us together immediately.
Yeah.
I want to kind of move on to about physical fitness, right?
Okay.
I don't want to undermine your accomplishments, so I want you to really explain, because I know you just had a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you actually did recently?
Yeah. So recently, I won the Mr. Universe in Argentina. So I compete for a basis. I compete in a natural organization for bodybuilding. So I'm a men's physique athlete. And with Team USA, I went to Argentina to compete, obviously, on the Team USA.
When you say with Team USA, so like, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. So in your class, you said men's physique, right? Men's physique for your weight or whatever. So the best of the best in the U.S. or under that organization went over.
So this competition in particular was an international competition.
And international, see, I'm happy.
Yeah,
so it was international.
So it was an international competition. It was mostly Latin America because it's that region. So Chile was there, Mexico, Argentina, Uruguay. It was in Argentina, so of course their country was there, and Team USA, Germany. So it was an international competition. My category that I competed in was men's physique.
Yes.
And that I won.
And then you were number 1, top dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about your travels, right? Like you said, you competed recently where again?
Argentina,
yes. But have you ever competed anywhere else on an international platform?
So my first international competition was New Zealand.
Ooh.
I know, right? And a long flight too, man. We're talking about like 12 hours plus. Yeah. Crazy. So that was my first competition internationally. This year was Spain. Earlier this year was Spain.
Okay.
And then the most recent one was Argentina.
So you've done 3 international shows: Argentina, New Zealand, and I'm missing one.
So
in Spain,
it was New Zealand, and Argentina. The Spain one, because I don't know if you remember, I'm on a team.
Yes,
so I'm on a bodybuilding team. So we did Spain as well earlier.
Okay.
So I was a part of that show, but I didn't compete in that show. I was a part of that show. So the team in itself, though, been to Japan, been to, like I said, New Zealand, been to Spain, Argentina.
And you've traveled with them.
And I've traveled with them.
But the ones that you've competed in on the international platform, you've won.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, why it seems like you do a lot of traveling for on your team for international. Have you done any local, regional competitions?
I have. I've done a show here in Oceanside, actually, last year.
Okay.
To be specific. And I've done also the Natural Olympia, which is the big show that we have at the end of the year. Okay. And that's in Las Vegas.
Have you ever thought about doing more local shows?
You know what? The opportunity to travel and also compete is what propelled me to do the international shows. Okay. So that's what made it a little bit more appealing. And it was a little bit harder. You know, it's military.
Yeah.
Try to go like the hard route. Yes, I feel like it's embedded in us to always try to choose the path.
So what I'm hearing is you're interested in doing local shows, which you have done, but that drive, that discipline, that motivation that you've learned in the military compelled you to do the big shows.
Of
and
course.
That's what. So you've always just wanted to go straight to the top.
Yes, man. For me, it was just too easy of a decision to choose these international shows. Like I said, I get to travel somewhere else that I've never been. All of these places I've never been before. I travel to these places and I'm competing and I'm going up against people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
On an international stage, they're sending their best of the best. And so it's challenging for me as well to do these shows. And for me to come away with the victory, icing on the cake.
Yeah, I respect that 1,000%.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Talk about challenging things. You're also a content creator.
Yes.
Would you say that's challenging for yourself?
Fuck yeah. Man, I think bodybuilding, let's put it on a scale, right? Bodybuilding would be like an 8. I'm speaking for myself.
For course. 1 being easy, 10 being the hardest thing you've ever done in your life?
Bodybuilding would be an 8. Content creation, initial content create, like just putting up a phone, right? And just hit record and just talking, maybe like a 5, to be honest. The whole process behind it, fucking 10.
When you talk about the process, do you mean like the editing, the producing?
The editing, the producing, making sure that you're structuring things correctly, making sure you actually have an audience to who you're structuring said things correctly, and also knowing what they want, because at the end of the day, that's who you're feeding. That's
you're entertaining.
Yeah, because I'm entertaining them. I'm literally at their will, basically.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes you want to think of it as you're just having fun, and I do have fun with it, and I really do create things that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I actually like. But at the end of the day, if the people on the other side of said content that I'm creating, it's like, bro, this is crap. It's almost like, yeah, I could just entertain myself in my own bedroom,
Is content creating something that you want to capitalize more on, or is it more like a hobby? Like, how far do you want to take content creating?
Content creation is the pathway that I do want to pursue in my life. Honestly speaking, fitness, the bodybuilding side of it, that will forever be with me, because that's who I am as a person. That's literally my body.
That's your part of your identity.
That is a part of my identity. We're all bodybuilders. Some are a little bit rounder in shape. Some is a little bit more symmetrical.
Yeah.
And we could actually speak on the symmetry part of it. But we're all bodybuilders in some sense of the word, right? But content creation is what I've always looked at and said, I've always wanted to be in front of a camera. And so content creation has given me an avenue to do that.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I respect that 1,000%. It's allowed you to maintain your authenticity, but even that can be even challenging, because as you said, you can be authentic to yourself, but if your audience is not receptive to it, it could pressure you to maybe change that.
Yeah.
But you have that discipline, you have that motivation in order to being true to yourself. Something else I want to talk to you about. You wear so many hats, like you said, you do so many things. Do you ever struggle with like any like self-esteem, like with like either bodybuilding or content creating? Because I know we've talked about this on the side, especially with bodybuilding, right?
Yeah.
And you've been helping me out too. Like, you've allowed me to gain a different perspective of like how my body looks compared to like how I see it.
Right.
Do you struggle with any of that?
Hell yeah, man. I think that is something that kind of comes with the territory. And ironically speaking, content creation or the media has a role to play in that. When we open up our phones, sometimes we see these different people that we look at and we say, man, how did they do that? Or is that how I'm supposed to look?
Yeah.
Especially if you see somebody that's, God forbid, they're younger than you. You're like, Jesus Christ, like, you got abs on top of abs. So for me, and to be honest, I've always had a little bit of a struggle in terms of a self-image struggle. I was always skinny my whole life, man. I was a twig. I was just a fast, skinny guy.
Yeah.
Growing up. And going into bodybuilding, I used to like, oh man, I wish my arms were bigger, or my legs. My legs is like my big point. Which if you're skinny, automatically your legs gonna be skinny.
Yeah.
And then getting into bodybuilding, people used to be like, oh, you're a bodybuilder, but
your legs.
And so that's something that I've always been like, I gotta grow my legs. So that's something that I struggle with a lot.
Do you think the military exacerbated that? Because I know being a Marine specifically, and you may or may not know this, but being a Marine specifically, how we looked was a very big focal point, right? How we looked and how we performed. So even when I was like you was, I was a skinny guy growing up, but I was always fast, but I was naturally strong.
Yeah.
Right? And then I joined the Marine Corps, and then I'm no longer the fastest, nor am I the strongest person. You know what I'm saying? So it flipped on me. And then, so that kind of continued when I got out, because it's like, oh, I'm no longer as fast. I'm a lot stronger now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do you think you being in the Navy had anything to do with that, about how you looked or how you performed?
Definitely. I think one of the things when I went to boot camp, and also when I went to the fleet, was your appearance was everything. That's the first thing that people see, right? If you came around a corner, people are going to look you up and down. They can see that you're in the military. And then that's when they start to nitpick things off of you, right? So for me, image was a big thing. And that was one of the things that I took from the military that still sticks with me to this day, is like, you gotta put your best face forward, man.
Yeah.
Making sure things are, okay, it doesn't have to be absolutely pristine. It doesn't have to be fresh out the box type of shoes that you have on. But at least clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
At least put on a clean t-shirt. So for me, bringing that from the military, stepping out into the civilian world, I do also, admittedly, I look at other people the same way too. I'm like, oh man, your shirt's a little dirty, or that's not your size.
Or you could have ran it through the dryer for a couple of minutes.
My God, he didn't even try. And also, going to the bodybuilding part of it, we also nitpick as well.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's almost it
goes hand in hand.
It's such alignment in terms of the military and bodybuilding, because it's like, oh, now you start to say, oh, okay, your abs is, your back. Your legs can be this way or that way. And then remember, that's what I spoke with you about.
Yeah.
You were telling me that, oh man, I don't know these things. I don't know if I could do this. And I'm like, I can literally see the shape of your back. Even despite what you're seeing for yourself. So yeah, man, it's such a beautiful thing that when alignment happens and works, so.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%, and I really appreciated that when you helped me out that day in the gym, because I thought my back was my weakest point, and now that I've been taking it, and I found out it's actually one of my strongest points.
It literally is your strongest point.
I struggled with, those identity, that self-esteem, because being in the Marine Corps, being in the service, it's like, I know what the best is, and I want to achieve that.
Oh, so, got you.
So when I look at myself, I minimize that. Like for you, at the time, you rather do the international shows because those were the highest level.
Yeah.
So that's what you went. So then, my final question for you on this topic is, how did you get over that? How did you, with the hurdles, the self-esteem hurdles and stuff, how did you move on from that?
I think a simple answer would be just be better. But that also leaves it a bit ambiguous.
What does be better mean to yourself then?
Yeah, so when I say be better, I'm saying, I'm speaking strictly about how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
Right? When I say be better, the self-talk that we have sometimes is so destructive. But if you can that's one thing I think, if you can just change your self-talk, even if it's delusion, even if you're like, man, I'm a billionaire, handsome model looking, big, walking around. You know what I'm saying? Like something so simple that actually changes so much about how you present yourself to the world. Because a lot of people, they will see you and try to nitpick things that they don't like about you. You might find people that nitpick things that they do like about you, you know? But I think sometimes we're such big self-critiques. And if we can just change that little piece about who we are as a person and what we do, man, that makes a big difference.
It does. And as you know, I'm a therapist in training, and those are actual specific clinical interventions. Those negative self-talks we call cognitive distortions, right? And they're preconceived thoughts that we have about ourselves and our thought patterns that negatively influence our behaviors, right? So there's a therapeutic intervention called CBT, cognitive behavior training, where it specifically teaches you to change your thoughts. Because we, as you know, even without the training, right, you know your thoughts influence your feelings and your actions, right? So if you can tweak that, if you can change your thoughts, it's going to change those feelings and your actions. So yeah, that's something I had to learn about myself. It's just being kinder to myself. Practicing positive affirmations, giving myself those, you know what I'm saying? So now, excuse my language, I don't give a fuck. I'll be in the gym getting a pump, watching myself flexing, you know what I'm saying? And just really loving myself and accepting
You have to, man. You have to. I feel like that is our superpower. For a lot of people, I should say, is on tap. Just be kind to ourselves. Just With that being said, I want to use this time now to really kind of allow you the opportunity to shout yourself out. Where can we find you? What businesses, or you know what I'm saying? Do you have a website? Anything like that? Okay. You can find me on YouTube. So Alun Gil TV Reacts. That's my YouTube channel. I do mostly reactions to sporting events or whatever is current. I also have an Instagram, of course. That's Alun Gil, the Alun Gil. So that's TheAlungil. That's on Instagram. I have a Facebook as well, Alun Gilpin, and I have a TikTok. I just started getting into TikTok as well, and that's Alun Gil on TikTok. For me, I have my personal training business. So of course I'm taking on clients. I've closed it for the year, but I will start up soon.
What time are you looking at? What time frame are you looking at that?
So around New Year's. So,
and do you have a specialty?
So I train mostly those that want to get back on a fitness journey. So for professionals, working professionals that, you know, may have lost their way a little bit, and want to get back on the fitness journey, that's who I'm catered towards mainly. I do train athletes that do want to compete as well, but it's not my only track that I train.
Okay. I know we've talked on the side about potentially you coming down to our gym and maybe helping out. So hopefully we can see you there. And then, like I said, man, I really appreciate you coming down here, sharing your experiences. And I just really appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, man. I told you anytime you want me to come through, it's always good. It's always a good time. You already know.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking with veterans, speaking with like-minded people, getting into that environment where, you know, they understand the lingo. I actually appreciate you having me on. And I want to pat myself a little bit on the back because I didn't cuss as much. You know, sometimes that's how we sometimes talk. Coming from military background, you know,
just slips.
Potty mouth, but. Yeah, man, appreciate everything. And anytime I can get around veterans, anytime I can get around military members, even families, because they go through they go through it.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's always welcoming to myself. So yeah, man, appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, man.
Of course.
Okay.
I love. One message for someone rebuilding the body and the mind. I first want to say it starts up top. I think the mind is such a powerful tool, and I think the mind leads where your body goes. So once you get your mental state into a position that you are okay with who you are as a person, I think a lot of times we try to hide who we are, but it really is for us to hone in to who we are as a person. And I think that translate down to your body, where you can be accepting of what you want to do and who you are. So getting your mind right to begin with, getting your mental health in check, get everything that you need and every accomplishment that you can achieve in this life is and does start with the mind. So once you get your mind correct, the body will follow. I think anytime I speak with people that want to do something that they're like, oh, this is insurmountable or this is too difficult of a task, I think once you have triggered that thing in your mind to tell yourself that you can do it, that you can achieve it, that's where it starts, and the body will follow afterwards.